Eala begins Qatar Open run versus Czech Tereza Valentova. Eala will begin her Qatar Open campaign this week against Czech player Tereza Valentova in the round of 64. Eala and Valentova previously faced each other in October 2025 at the Japan Women's Open, where the Czech dominated the Filipina ace 6-1, 6-2 in the round of 32. Valentova went on to reach the finals of the tournament before falling to Leila Fernandez. Valentova is currently ranked 44th in the WTA rankings, just one spot above Eala. The Czech player made her Grand Slam main draw debut last year, reaching the round of 64 at both Roland Garros and the US Open, and advancing to the round of 32 at the most recent Australian Open. Eala, meanwhile, is coming from the Abu Dhabi Open, where she reached the quarterfinals in singles and the semifinals in doubles alongside Janice Jen. Since January, Eala has reached the semifinals of the ASB Classic, named as champion of the Kuyang Classic, and suffered a first-round exit at the Australian Open against Alicia Parks. At the Philippine Women's Open, Eala advanced to the quarterfinals before bowing out to eventual champion Camila Osorio. Eala's Doha Dawn. A story of resolve, rivalry, and rising ambition. In the golden light of early February in Doha, where the desert sun kisses the hard courts and the world's top tennis talent converges for another chapter in the WD calendar, Eala prepares to write hers. The air is crisp, the stadium buzzing with anticipation, and for Eala, the 20-year-old Filipino tennis sensation, the Qatar Total Energies Open represents both a challenge and an opportunity, a stage to refine her craft, to push past past losses, and to carve her name ever deeper into tennis history. Setting the scene, Doha's Tennis Theater. The Qatar Open, one of the premier WTA 1000 events, sits near the heart of the women's professional tour calendar. It draws not only the sport's household names but also hungry challengers. Winning here isn't just another tick on a resume, it's affirmation of belonging at the sport's elite tier. For Eala, this Doha chapter is particularly meaningful. Coming off an impressive but grueling run at the Abu Dhabi Open, where she powered through several rounds and reached the singles quarterfinals, she's riding a wave of confidence but aware that the path ahead in Qatar will test every ounce of her resolve. The opponent, Tereza Valentova, a familiar foe. Across the net stands a familiar name, Tereza Valentova, the rising Czech star whose trajectory on tour has been steep and striking. A year ago, Valentova turned heads with stellar junior achievements and has since translated that promise into tangible success on the WTA stage. She's a player who has already made her mark in Grand Slam draws, reaching second and third rounds at majors like Roland Garros, the US Open, and even the Australian Open. Valentova is not merely a well-ranked opponent, she's a benchmark, a young phenom that represents the swelling tide of global talent in women's tennis. Currently ranked just ahead of Eala in the WTA standings, their rankings difference may be slight, but on the court their rivalry has already begun to take shape. Rewind. Their last encounter. In October 2025, the two crossed rackets at the Japan Women's Open in Osaka. On that day, Valentova was dominant, securing a straight sets victory, 6-1, 6-2. It was a match that both reflected Valentova's confidence and exposed vulnerabilities in Eala's game. Eala struggled to find rhythm, while Valentova's powerful ground strokes and aggressive court positioning repeatedly put the Filipina on the defensive. But sport, in its greatest beauty, rarely asks athletes to repeat history. Instead it calls them to evolve, to learn, adapt, and return stronger. Eala's growth, a season of peaks and learning. Eala's 2026 campaign hasn't been a simple sprint, it's been an unfolding journey of resilience. The year started at the ASB Classic, where she made the semifinals and showcased the form that many around the world believe she's capable of sustaining. She followed that with a mixed Australian Open experience, exiting in an early round but learning valuable lessons, and continued to build match toughness and tactical versatility. Her Abu Dhabi run, defeating seasoned players before bowing out to a top 15 opponent, further underscored her ability to compete with the very best. And though doubles didn't yield a title there, Her partnership with Janice Tien kept her sharp and competitive across formats. This blend of experiences, triumph, struggle, adaptation, is what molds champions. While the Japan loss to Valentova was difficult, it is not the full story of Eala's progression. Instead, it stands as a pivotal point, the moment not of defeat, but of determination. A match of contrasts, style, strategy, and story. Tereza Valentova's game is built on precision and aggression. At 18 she moves with youthful exuberance yet plays with a strategic calm betraying her age. Her powerful ground strokes, consistency from the baseline, and ability to seize control early in a rally make her a threat on Doha's hard courts. Eala, on the other hand, blends athleticism with tactical creativity. Her movement, particularly her ability to chase down balls and turn defense into offense, is a trademark of her style. She mixes spin and variation with depth and penetration, and when she finds her serve with rhythm, she becomes a formidable force capable of dictating play. This matchup, therefore, isn't just a rematch, it's a duel of evolution versus expectation, of learned strategy versus unbridled potential. The narrative of revenge, but more than that. For many fans, the Doha meeting is about revenge, a chance for Eala to avenge her Japan Open loss. But for Eala herself, the stakes run deeper. This is about confidence. It's about consolidation. It's about proving not only to the world but to herself that she has the tools and the mindset to convert promise into performance. Revenge in sport is powerful, yes, but growth demands more than retaliation. It demands reflection, adjustment, and belief. Doha's stage and what it means for Eala. The Qatar Total Energies Open is a tennis crucible, one that brings together the world's best on hard courts that reward precision, power, and tactical acumen. The tournament features elite competitors, including top 5 stars like Iga Swiatek, Coco Gauff, and other titans of the sport, women who have become household names and whose games define excellence. For Eala, competing among these ranks isn't simply about results today. It's about positioning for the future, climbing higher in the rankings, earning deeper draws in bigger tournaments, and removing psychological barriers one match at a time. What a victory could mean! If Eala were to defeat Valentova in this round of 64 match, it would be more than a notch in her WTA record. It would be a statement, one of maturation and momentum. It could signal to future opponents that the Filipina's game is not just competitive but ready to contend with the very best. Whether she advances to face the likes of Karolina Muchova, Jacqueline Christian, or another rising star, the journey begins here, with belief. But what if she loses? Losing, especially early, is never the fairy tale ending athletes crave. And yet, losses are as instructive as victories. For Eala, a narrow defeat, competitive in every set, showcasing strategic growth, could be as valuable a story as any deep tournament run would.